We're in my bedroom in London, which I rarely get to see because we're away quite a lot at the moment. I kind of work on songs and stuff here.
We were with Bastille for about 18, 20 months or so prior to being signed, and during that time we were beyond broke, like losing money doing it. It started in Dan's bedroom, like, on his laptop.
On my computer I've written every Bastille song that we've done. It's my suitcase, which I live out of. It's pretty much my house.
It's weird not having a base. Well, it's a bit crazy at the minute. We're just charging around country to country and not really got any sort of days off.
We just tour and tour and tour and tour.
Last year was relatively chilled out, and that's just the opposite of what it is now.
We're in a very lucky position where people seem to be kind of picking up on us all around the world.
This has been the busiest, densest year of our lives. We've suddenly found ourselves in these slightly larger situations than we ever anticipated.
We always say we feel like competition winners. It's such a surreal world to suddenly be thrust into.
It would be nice to find some time to work on some music, be it for the film or a song in its own right, and just sort of see what happens.
You find us here in Stockholm on the precipice of a wondrous adventure, the outcome of which is unknown even to us.
We're in this amazing position where we get to do all these incredible things, but we don't get much time to sort of take a lot of it in and really see any of the places that we've been. The BEEFEATER Alchemy project is giving us an opportunity to get our heads out of the music that we play every day and out of the sort of bubble that we're in. And the idea of kind of meeting a whole new load of people, seeing a whole new load of environments is quite exciting, you know, in terms of provoking inspiration.
Doing this project is quite a refreshing change.
This project is letting the fans in on part of our lives that we've not really shared before. For them to sort of see us going around with a view at the end of it. And so rather than just go, here's a song, I hope you like it, we can say, here's us developing a song as we're developing it. Here's us collecting the inspiration and the sounds, so then they can hopefully feel a bit more of a connection to it.
We've never been to Barcelona before as a band.
We're in a cable car, flying above Barcelona.
Very nice to take a break from tour, even though, you know, it's amazing.
Look at that slide, it's massive.
Where?
Down here.
Welcome to Chimay, I'm Stefano.
Kyle.
Meeting Stefano, who was really laid back, but has created this little world in his restaurant and this community, clearly, and their food is highly regarded.
I think you should try a bit of this.
I don't think I should.
Oh, no.
Yes.
If you get a person who doesn't like seafood to eat seafood, he's not going to like it.
We ran this place for 8 years. It's like our home.
When did all this start with the writing on the walls?
Yeah, this started from the very early moment. Some friends and some writers and some artists that they start to leave a sign there, and then I don't know what happened. Everybody just on the side.
I did a drawing of Kyle as if he were an octopus.
I'm Dan.
Jana.
Nice to meet you, Dan.
Hi. Jana, welcome to Milano. We are a classic bar.
It's lucky that we're four very classic lads.
Oh, yes.
Final hurdle.
I like the cocktails that she made, and it was nice seeing her make them as well. How many years have you been mixing drinks?
Oof, 90 years. 90 years, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Salud.
So you're doing a remix of Things We Lost in the Fire?
Yeah.
How's it going?
I'm working on it. I look for something maybe more dance floor style, but without losing this identity.
It's always really nice to hear other people's complete reinterpretations.
Let's see what happens now.
We get remixes done all the time, and it's always really fun hearing them, but you don't often get to meet the guy that's doing it. His points of reference and his influences are kind of bands that we really like as well, and producers that we love. So it'll be amazing to hear what he does with it.
You're lucky you have come to Barcelona the best day.
Even when we went down quiet little roads, people just hanging out. It was nice to see a little snapshot of the city. It wasn't the most cultured of trips. It revolved around food and a massive party and fireworks. Our first attempt at our field recordings involved me holding my phone out to some fireworks.
Loads it, right.
We wanted to go to the places and get sounds that we could then sort of bring back and actually make a song or a few beats out of.
I want to use a firework as part of a drum beat. That'd be good.
It's quite a nice way to start, sonically have a bit of a palette to work with. It's quite interesting travelling a lot and seeing the differences, but also just the commonalities between literally everywhere you go. The differences always seem quite superficial once you actually scratch the surface. People just want to have a good time, don't they, and get on with it.
I've never had a coffee in my life. It doesn't taste nice.
It's like Squidgate all over it again. Here's a sort of master pizza creator, and he was showing me how to do it, and I was like a kid with Play-Doh. It was like a weird Russian doll moment, where I looked at the tattoo and then I looked up and it was a giant version of what was happening in real life. I've never been to an art gallery before where the artist himself is taking you around. So for her, I guess it was the closest thing that an artist could have to a gig.
This is jail for young people.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And juvie?
Yeah, it's on island.
But the people open the fence and
jump in the water.
So you go into a gallery and you stay away from the picture. That thing of like, don't touch.
Oh, yeah,
like, look, don't touch. And she was just sort of picking up her own art and rubbing it and inviting us to feel the textures, and that was really interesting. You know, you're so used to like, in London, if you go to a gallery, if you go anywhere near the picture, like, get back!
His concept is for living inside the art, because art doesn't have to stay only on the wall or as a sculpture, but has to be lived, because art is living.
It was Raffaella's idea for us to go outside and play with the tyres whilst having a talk.
It's nice to get wrapped up in someone's
You're so passionate.
Ultimately, she was saying that people who want to make art and who do it because they love it, not because they want the job.
We're going to set fire to these, right?
Art has become such a big part of the social movement rather than just the finished product. I think music can be quite like that.
Lovely to meet you. Thank you for throwing tyres with us.
No, it's a pleasure.
You'll weave round loads of corners and up some sort of weird cobbled streets and turn left, and then suddenly you'll be in this amazing cave that's a church filled with skulls and bones.
The Fontenelle Cemetery was just kind of quite awe-inspiring.
Oh my God, it's like something out of a horror film. The face is still on it. Woody, Kyle, look, the skin is still on the head.
In the 17th century, Naples was hit by pestilence, eruption, earthquake, all in the short time.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of body, and there is no place in the church where put this body.
There's loads of skulls, but where are the rest of the bodies?
All under the ground.
There was a real tangible atmosphere in there. It was really dark and eerie, and you don't often hang around lots of dead bodies.
As if it wasn't ominous enough, it started thunder and lightning.
But it was just as we were looking at the headless angel. Barcelona is quite visceral and in the moment and contemporary, whereas today we went to that 300-year-old cemetery, so it's quite retrospective looking back at the past.
We're here in Dublin, in St Stephen's Green, very famous park.
This is a genuine phobia. Absolutely not going near that.
Legend has it, a swan can break your arm at will.
They've got to move.
Does it wrap its neck around your arm?
That's what I was thinking. Maybe it's like an
Or is it like a
move.
peck?
It's the wing.
Really?
You don't want a
Well,
wing.
it grabs you with its wing.
Done.
When we've been in Dublin before, we always do quite touristy things, don't we?
It's going to be interesting to break the mould of our Dublin routine. It would just be nice to see the different side of it.
So basically what I do here, I have brought back to life this 150-year-old camera. They're totally unique. You can reproduce it. I should add the chemicals involved in the process are actually quite dangerous. I'm using cyanide, which is one of the chemicals.
I was going to say as a joke, yeah, but cyanide.
Yeah. No, you do have cyanide, silver nitrate, which would be the main chemical responsible for the picture to become light sensitive.
And to kill vampires.
Kill vampires as well, yes.
It's nice to see people with really different interests.
2, 3, 4. That's it.
Just in the dark room, just hanging out in the dark room. Instantly, beards. That's the first thing you see.
That is wicked.
The Cats on Kyle's t-shirt just shining through.
Now we just need to rinse for a few minutes.
It looks incredible. Old school cowboy Will on the back there.
I know, he's amazing.
Dan's eyes are wicked.
It's totally unique. It's almost like a painting in a way.
In Dublin, we met an artist called Dermot, and just to meet someone from a totally different area of the arts and engage in something outside music was really nice.
He seems to just really love skulls and women, which is cool. You see art on street walls and you maybe don't think about the fact that the guy that made it really cares about what people think about it.
I'm always really amazed with the kind of accuracy and detail.
Yeah, spray cans are, people say, how do you achieve that kind of thing, but it's much easier than brushwork.
It just stay for as long as it stays, basically.
I think that's kind of a nice thing about street art is that it could go up and it could disappear, it could be trashed. It's exciting to see where it goes.
I much prefer being on stage and recording than having a finished piece to look at. And I'd always assumed that the final piece was what was important to the artist, but they too enjoyed the process of doing it.
And the process is public. There are kids coming and watching you do it, and people can watch it on live.
I used to love painting and drawing as a child, and because we've met quite a few artists, it's really sort of inspired me to get back into that.
I struggled a little bit with the Modern Art Museum in Naples. It's not really my thing. I feel quite out of my comfort zone, but Dermot taking us around, seeing the street art, I actually really enjoyed that, and that kind of spoke to me a bit more.
It would be really cool if you're up for it to maybe design some artwork for this thing that we're doing.
Yeah.
Obviously. Dude, we all absolutely love the remix.
Thanks.
We listened to it in the bus. It's so good.
To be honest, I was afraid that by changing your voice, because you know that I have just decreased it a little bit.
I really like vocals that are pitched up and down anyway.
And I'm glad that you like.
How did you start it?
There was a lot of work of cutting the samples and rearranging everything. It was a really nice experience for me as well. I hope you enjoyed this day in Barcelona, which was so special. You remember with the beach, on all this fire.
But dude, it was really good to speak to you. Thanks so much for your time, and thanks again for the remix. We love it. Hopefully, we can do something together again soon.
Thanks to you for the opportunity. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. I hold in these eyes all that remains. You have your whole life to write your first album, then suddenly you're put in a completely different context and you go and travel around the world, experience loads of different things and potentially change loads as a person, and then suddenly you're expected in the space of 6 months or 3 months to write a better record than the first one. The songwriting process for me is always really different. Sometimes I'll start thinking about a subject and be like, I really want to write a song about this particular thing. And there's been a few instances on these trips where I've thought that. We started working on a track. I've been collecting noises from around Europe.
When we were in Naples, there was thunder, so we're going to try and incorporate that.
I don't know what the end product's going to be like.
It'll be interesting to see how many of our harebrained schemes survive the process.
I don't know, I have to wait and see.
This one.
I quite like it. So.
It's nice to know that we're using sounds that are ours and that we're then manipulating them into what we want them to be. See, we feel really lucky in all the places we've been to because there's only, you know, in all the people we've chatted to, it's only going to add more experiences and stuff and more things to think about.
I've definitely found inspiration from doing this. More than I thought, I think.
That, I guess, was the point of these trips, just to sort of step back and go to some places that we never thought we'd see and which we'd never visited before and just get our heads out of ourselves and our first album a bit and start thinking about the new thing. And if the project did anything, it was really nice that it helped do that. With things like this, there's no real way of knowing what the outcome's going to be. It's kind of the same as when you're making a new song and you don't really know what's going to happen with it. So you just kind of get on with it and never really know where it's going to end up. So this is where we are with the track. It's very early days and it's by no means finished, but we're hoping it will evolve into something.